If you've spent the last few evenings scrolling through endless listings, watching video after video, and still can't quite tell which spotting scope actually lives up to the hype, this review is here to clear the fog. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've been talking to a few seasoned birders and hunters, reading the comments in niche forums, and even peeking at the occasional field report from wildlife photographers. The goal? To figure out whether the Vortex Razor HD 2760x85 angled model is a smart investment or just another shiny piece of glass that will collect dust in your gear bag. The first thing most people worry about with a spotting scope is whether the magnification range actually translates to useful images in the field. A 2760x zoom sounds impressive, but if the optics turn everything into a grainy mess at the high end, you're no better off than with a cheap binocular. The Razor HD promises a triplet apochromatic lens and extra low dispersion glass, which, in plain English, means the colors stay true and the image stays sharp from the lower to the higher magnifications. In real-world use, think early morning waterfowl migrations over a misty lake. The lower end, 27x, gives you a wide enough field to locate a moving flock, while the 60x end lets you pick out individual duck markings without straining your eyes. That flexibility is where the value really starts to appear. Another common hesitation is durability. Spotting scopes get tossed around in backpacks, exposed to rain, and sometimes slapped against a tree if you're hunting in dense brush. The Razor HD is O-ring sealed and argon purged, which essentially makes it waterproof and fogproof. When I asked a field guide who's been using a similar Vortex model for years, he emphasized that you can drop the scope in a puddle, set it down in a humid marsh, and still get a clear view minutes later, not a single foggy moment. That sort of reliability eliminates the need for a separate protective case for everyday outings, saving you both space and money. Now, let's talk about the focus mechanism, because a smooth, precise focus dial makes the difference between a quick got it and a frustrating wobble while you're trying to lock onto a distant subject. Vortex equipped the Razor HD with a helical focus ring that feels almost buttery. In the field, you'll find yourself adjusting focus while holding your breath, perhaps trying to track a hawk on a thermaling rise. The dial's fine increments let you make tiny tweaks without overshooting, and the scope stays balanced in your hands thanks to its trimmed design. That balance matters when you're on a tripod that's been tossed around the back of a Jeep. The scope doesn't swing wildly as you turn the focus. So who should actually buy this thing? If you're an avid birdwatcher who spends at least a weekend a month out in the field, a hunter who wants to spot game at a distance before moving in, or a nature photographer who needs a compact high-magnification tool for scouting, the Razor HD is a solid match. Its wide 85mm objective gathers enough light to keep images bright even as the sun dips below the horizon, which is a real advantage during twilight hunts or dusk birding sessions. The lifetime VIP warranty from Vortex also adds a safety net. You're not just buying a scope, you're buying a long-term partnership with the brand. Conversely, if you're a casual hiker who only occasionally glances at distant peaks, you probably don't need a 60x zoom scope. A decent pair of binoculars will handle horizon spotting without the extra bulk, and the Razor HD's price point may feel steep for infrequent use. Also, the high magnification can become a double-edged sword if you don't have a sturdy tripod. At 60x, any slight vibration, whether from wind or an uneven surface, will turn the image shaky, making it hard to hold a clear view for more than a second. That means you'll need to invest in a tripod that can support the weight, which adds to the overall cost. Speaking of weight, the Razor HD sits around 2.4 pounds, which is lighter than many competing 80mm scopes but still a noticeable addition to a day pack. If you're trekking long distances with a minimalist load, you'll feel it especially on uphill climbs. However, if you're already carrying a camera bag or a hunting pack, the extra weight is negligible compared to the benefit of having that flexible magnification range in a single instrument. A practical weakness that shows up in user chatter is the lack of a dedicated sunshade. In bright, open fields, the glare off the objective can be a nuisance, and you'll probably need to improvise with a folded piece of cardboard or a small hood you purchase separately. It's not a deal breaker, but it's an extra step that some buyers forget until they're out there with the sun directly overhead. Another point to consider is the angled eyepiece. The Razr HD uses an angled design, which means you don't have to bring the scope directly up to your face. That's great for people